Hello, GoMo podcast community. This is the finals, game 2 of the Fighter Sword bracket between 4th seed DJDarkwingD and 6th seed JohnTheBranch. This is Smokey Jones 10 here with Laoria Light. How are you doing tonight?
I am fantastic. I am hyped for game 2. I'm excited I get to comm game 2 with you, Mocha. After calming last night's race between the two guys, I'm excited to be here for game 2.
Oh man, I'm so excited. If you missed last night's game, oh my word, that was a game. And we know these runners are just on fire right now, and they got something to prove because they're in the finals of the Fighter Sword bracket, and so we're gonna see what they got to go. I know the last round, Darkwing did get a reverse sweep. I wanted to see if that's gonna happen again tonight.
Yeah, I know he was feeling a little bit down with that hammer placement yesterday, but message today, he is ready to go. He is feeling no tilt. He wants to get this win. As we start off, we have both starting in the Uncle start and finding just, an arrow refill.
Yeah, and we are doing open mode tonight. That is what Darkwing has said. And it's funny that right after, Darkwing says that, hey, we're doing open, JTB says, I haven't practiced this in like 4 weeks. So I'm going to give DJ maybe a slight advantage today just because of what JTB said.
Yeah, I definitely think that's fair. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if between, last night and today, JTB may have, even if he didn't practice, in a game, maybe brought out the Z3R sim and practiced a little bit of routing shenanigans with that.
Yeah, and there hasn't really been anything in the well. We just got a couple of heart pieces. So that maybe Uncle Start today wasn't the best play. But we're going to Sank to see what's in there. Oh, there is a bow. A bow early. Love to see that.
Sank start for life, but DJ picking up the bow and immediately saving and quitting again. I bet he's going to be making the playthrough escape using that bow.
Oh, after what happened yesterday, I can see Darkwing doing this. And we get a map check, and it looks like Eastern and Desert were our crystals, and Hera was a pendant.
Yesterday early on in the race, our runners were kind of both following in each other's footsteps a bit. And it's kind of nice to see this early divergence. John, though, being rewarded for continuing through the Sank opener with a sword.
Yeah, I hope this play for Darkwing pans out. Just because he could have had a sword by now. And so we're going to see what's going to happen. There's a heart container. Maybe there's more stuff on the way down.
Yeah, this is definitely a gamble. And I've seen people make the same gamble. If you get a weapon early on in the Sank opener, saving quitting, go ahead and start at Link's house and go ahead and do escape with whatever weapon you have available. It is a risk, though, because you know that your opponent is more than likely going to continue through Kakariko, and that's going to put you potentially a bit behind.
Yeah, and kind of another slightly less risky play is JTB going into Blindside without bombs, but it's rewarded with a fire rod, a hook shot, and master sword.
What is this blind set? You're right. It's risky to go in without bombs, but goodness, if he's not rewarded for it with that setup, early master sword like this too is somewhat questionable because if JohnTheBranch finds a lamp, this could potentially be an Aga seed, and he'd be able to route in escape a lot easier with going up to do Aga.
Yeah, and right there, JTB gets 6 bombs, and we have Darkwing having to escape out, and there's a cape. But we have
It is feeling more likely.
Mbombos. Oh my word, what is this? Cat today?
This is one stacked Kakariko, or should I say Stackariko. You know, we're gonna see John immediately go right back over here to Blind's hut, bomb that back wall that he had to skip momentarily. Um, you know, if you don't have bombs coming into CAC and you don't have the money to buy bombs, there's a few different options you can do. Some people will gamble going into Blind's hut or going into the well and hoping they find bombs, which today gambling well would have worked for John. But what also is an option is saving and quitting and coming to CAC from the south. There are two 50-50 bomb spots south of the Grove in that kind of arrow shaped bush area. So you could always use that as a spot to potentially farm bombs as well.
Yeah, and the good thing about that spot is you can just go north, go into the Sacred Grove, and come back south and just try as much as you can. It's just a short walk there.
Yeah, it's a really quick place to farm up a couple of bombs, and if you really need more after getting maybe just one or two there, you can always bomb the shack in the southwest of Kakariko.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're having to skip Bottle Vendor for a little bit because we just don't have the 100 rupees needed to pay him.
Yeah, even though we're not getting Bottle Vendor, we got an Ether Medallion and a mirror all during that time.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, gambling Blind Hut versus Well to try and find bombs, DJ went ahead and gambled Well, and it worked out.
Yeah. And it looks like we're not needing boots for library today, as it's just $5 up there.
You know, and I find this kind of interesting too. After such a stacked Kakariko, John is going ahead and doing race game blind. You know, some people opt to check it first. Uh, in your situation, or in this situation, what would you have done, just out of curiosity?
Um, well, in this case, I'll get the money just cause I can go back up and get Bottle Vendor. But it depends on my items. If I have boots, I might go ahead and run over here just to check it. Boots or flute, I'll go check it. But in this case, I'll probably would still go ahead and run it, do the race game, just with their item layout right now.
That's completely fair. I 100% would have been in the exact opposite situation, and I would have been isolating Bottle Vendor till later because I would have checked it, seen 50 rupees, and said, "Yeah, I'll find rupees later," and then felt bad when I couldn't, and that I needed to get that Quake.
Well, it looks like we don't have to worry about medallion requirements for Mystery Mire or Turtle Rock today. Dante, thank you for this seed.
Yeah, this is really quite a seed. John is going to take his arsenal just right up to escape, kind of follow where DJ did. I would not be surprised if after finishing out Kakariko, we go ahead and see DJ make his way possibly to the eastern area if he's comfortable with the eastern dark rooms. If not, then maybe South Shore to gear up a little bit more beforehand.
Yeah, I can see DJ going probably to South Shore just cause we can do that part pretty easily. I know that he's pretty alright with the dark rooms in Eastern. I believe both of these runners are. And as you can see, John's just annihilating through the escape right now. We see Darkwing saving and quitting right here. Not going for the 50 rupees.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, I don't blame him for making that decision. You know, the chance of you finding more rupees throughout is going to be high. And, you know, Kakariko is not exactly like an isolated place. You have to get back there to be able to do, you know, to get your Dark World access into Village of Outcast, potentially go back for Sick Kid or Smith Chain. You know, I'm not too upset by him isolating the 50 rupees and that Quake medallion for now.
And Darkwing here has proven me wrong. I guess he's like trying to take caution out the window here, I guess you can say. He's going for the Eastern play. He can full clear it. He can do these dark rooms pretty relatively easy. So I think he's just wanting to go ahead and get that crystal on out the way as we pull Power Glove here too.
You know, maybe, just maybe, he can sense, just through your friendship, he can sense your commentary and is just going to do the opposite of what you say throughout the entire seed.
Oh yeah, that's totally true. Because I would not expect him to do that. I would have seen him go down to South Shore, and we get the JTB getting his map checks. Probably going to do the same thing, seeing that Eastern's a crystal and can be cleared.
And you know, with the hookshot too, it does make getting a couple of these checks a lot quicker. You don't have to, particularly the, I think it's the vanilla compass chest? I could be wrong. But you don't have to go and go through and hit the switch in the room before it. You can just hookshot right across. It's nice.
Yeah, I used to just call that the far right room because it's the room all the way to the right. And we
Now
see
I think
that
about
green.
it.
We see that green pendant is Skull Woods. So that fire rod may come in handy if Sahashala has an item for us today.
Speaking of that far right room, we have our big key. So there's potentially, you know, the chance that we will not have to go to the vanilla big key chest at all. Just depends on what else is kind of found along the way here in Eastern.
Yeah, and just to note, if there's not an item in the vanilla big key chest, then this dungeon is in logic because we have the fire rod.
That's an excellent point, one that I did not consider. Ooh, and unfortunately, DJ was just a little bit too far to the left, and it caused those top and bottom Stalfos to spawn, but with sword beams taking them out real quick.
The advantage of having a master sword.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those items that, you know, I don't think anybody really is upset to have early on. Sometimes those sword beams can kind of get a little pesky, but for these early dungeons, they're really nice.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. And we see Darkwing going here, go ahead and navigating the probably the easiest dark room of the game, and that hook shot can make it super easy. Just as you can see Darkwing doing right now, hook shotting over to that pot, picking up the key, hook shotting back, just Spider-Manning everywhere. Even though he's Darkwing Duck, he can Darkwing Duck everywhere.
Now you got me wanting to go and rewatch the old show and see if he has any kind of grappling device.
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure in the interview afterwards, Darkwing can tell us.
All right, so just a compass in the big key chest. So if JohnTheBranch decides to gamble, you know, an item not being there, he very well could go ahead and just skip it and would not be punished for it. John also being a little too far to the left there and spawning that bottom Stalfos.
I think John was actually intentionally doing that. With the way he was rocking around, he may not know exactly how that Stalfos run works.
And that's possible. I'm so sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I could be completely wrong with that. But as we saw Darkwing do, he used that fire rod to light up the dark room and is heading to the back.
Making quick work of those two Stalfos, getting those two shots in the red Igor as John is making his way through the small key dark room. He is deciding to not gamble an item being on Armos. He's going to go ahead and just check this. I don't mind this because, you know, if you have to come back in, it's not exactly fun to have to get back there.
Yeah, and just real quick, we have Relkin 96 with the rated 3. Thanks for that raid, Relkin. You're tuning into the winner's bracket of the fighter sword bracket here between Darkwing and JohnTheBranch, as we see Darkwing getting the first crystal of the game at under 14 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yep, and after this, I'm certain he will probably make his way down towards South Shore, especially not finding any progression. John, having had only 1.5 heart left, went ahead and jumped into the fairy pot, but unfortunately is out of magic, and so will not be able to light that torch. So he will be having to do this just based off those arrows as a guide.
Yeah, and Darkwing proving us wrong once again. He's going to go check the back of Escape.
You know, having gotten that glove from Sahasrara, this makes sense.
Darkwing's just proving us wrong all day today.
And getting rewarded with a blue mail and a hammer. And I believe he had found the map on his way down Escape. So there is an item in Darkcross, and it is technically in logic with that fire rod. You know, I'm a little surprised to see him not use that key and go backwards. But I totally understand too, you know, you still have all these South Shore checks.
Yeah, and while we were down in the back of Escape, we did pick up the hammer. Like that's very important. And if he wants to, he can use that as our weapon. Given it's a short range, but it's a weapon. We have John taking a death in the dark room.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was not able to get any magic drops, and so he, you know, couldn't light that torch. And that dark room, with those popos knocking you around, they can be kind of rough. DJ, with his hammer, with his glove, finds his moon pearl in the swamp and has dark world access.
Oh my word, under 16 minutes and dark world access and a crystal. Thank you, Dante. What do you have to throw at us next?
Yeah, at this point, if I'm DJ, I'm feeling pretty good, but at the same time, a lot of things just opened up for him. You know, the biggest question now is, where do you go next? Do you decide to, you know, fake flipper and do some water checks? Do you decide to save and quit and then go to Hype Cave? Do you go to Village of Outcasts? Do you sequence break up the mountain? There's so many options available to him. I can't wait to see what he decides to do.
As we pick up the Canis Maria down here too, which means that if Swamp and if Ice are in logic, we will be seeing those being used.
We also got a bottle as well, so you know, just depending on when he decides to go to Village of Outcasts, Darkwing will be able to get a sit kit check and his bottle vendor to pick up his Quake medallion as well.
Yeah, so we have John getting through that dark room this time. He had a little bit of magic there, so we now have Darkwing going up to see what's in Ice Rod Cave. Hopefully it's like a flute or something.
Perhaps a vanilla ice rod.
If it's vanilla Ice Rod, oh, there's boots. I'm surprised that Darkwing did not go for the water wall to go up to see Zoro, because I know he can do that.
It could just be that he was just so excited to get them and he already had in his mind planned out where he was going to go next, that save and quit was almost just reflexive of whatever this item is, I'm just going to have save and quit ready and we're going to go.
And a very nice quick kill on Armos for JTB. I know I still haven't gotten that down yet. And DJ taking those boots, see what's in Bobrox, and is rewarded with money.
Yeah, so his decision to skip the race game earlier, you know, it's a tiny time save, but it's ending up, you know, paying out for him, not to, you know, make a pun or anything. John, I do not believe... Oh no, I apologize. I was mistaken. I forgot where we had gotten the hammer for a second. Saving quitting to saying he is actually following in Darkwing's footsteps. He's going to go to the back of Escape. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to take that key and that fire rod and go ahead and go to Dark Cross from back here?
We shall see. It is a. We know that there's an item in here. It's just how comfortable is John with that dark room.
It does look like he's kind of thinking about it, and it does look like he is going to make that play, so it'll be really exciting. Oh no, don't make me a liar, John.
It's the map in there. He was looking at his menu to see what was in that chest, and he did not have the map, so it was the map in there.
Well, I'm really glad I was mistaken earlier, because I could have sworn I had seen the map. Speaking of map, let's get a map check. We've got 5-6 on Swamp and Ice, and our last pendant on Turtle Rock, so we may not even need an ice rod.
No, but we are going to see Icebreaker and Diver Down from these runners. And we have Darkwing knowing that he can go get green pendant. Imagine he'll probably check the front of Skull Woods to see what items, if he can get 2 items in there.
And you know, he might be gambling. I was gonna say, he might be gambling here because that ice rod was Sphere 1. He might be gambling that there is something back here that is fire rod locked. I don't blame him for making this play.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that I guess you could say he kind of learned from me, because I at least check the front of here when I can, just cause it's so much easier to go into Skull Woods than it is to navigate all the way back down to Village of Outcast.
All right, chat is correcting us again. There is a map. The map was in Zelda's cell, so there is still an item in Dark Cross. John making his way through mini Moldorm Cave, getting his Canis Maria and his blue goo bottle.
Meredith is saying that there's a bug with the front of Escape. So there is an item. Ooh, that could be costly for both players if they realize that they are looking for an item and don't think about going back and checking checking Dark Cross.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was not aware of that bug. We have magic powder sitting on Bumper Ledge, so DJ's probably going to check Lumberjack here, and being that we have the cape, may very well grab that.
This is not an Agassi today.
All right, John did get those boots, and it does look like he is going to be trying to set up a water walk here. So he is going to do what you had thought Darkwing would do earlier, and we're going to get some water checks out of this.
Yeah, and I know that John will usually... Well, he's not going to today. He's going to actually go for the water walk. I know yesterday he tried to do the double water walk setup, but he messed it up. So he's just going straight for the water walk. And there's an ice rod. We know we don't need that, quote unquote. It just depends on if we need pet or not.
Yeah, and at this point here, I believe we are just flute, flippers, and mitts from official go mode. So, you know, out of what we have left, mitts cannot be on the ped because they are required for Turtle Rock. The flute, however, absolutely could be. And the flippers as well. Nope, I'm just kidding. The flippers cannot be because Ice Rod is on Hylia Island.
It'd be nice if, you know, Dante just so happened to roll this a pet seed.
after we were just complimenting this seed and how nice it was and how stacked Kakariko was, it turns out to be a ped seed.
We have John here going to go check the waterfall fairy and doing his Zora checks.
And while he's doing that, Darkwing is getting his North Hyrule checks out of the way. Graveyard Ledge, not a lot of anything.
And we have a poor king today with 5 rupees.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The good news is John will not have to try and set up any kind of splash delete or anything like that. The Zora Ledge is just, a big 20, not exactly fun. Let's see what the King of Scam has.
Those have got to be the most expensive bombs I've seen today.
Whew, yeah, 500 for a 3-pack. Not exactly a good investment if I would do say so.
So we still have several checks we can make. We see Darkwing in Village of Outcasts. He can, if he wants to, mirror and go also check the Magic Bat if he wants. So he's got a good amount of checks he can check before he dips into Thieves Town.
And it's very possible that John could follow him, but John could also just decide to sequence break up the mountain. And, he's heading that direction. It very well could be just to check Lumberjack Ledge, but if he decides to go up the mountain, that's some big divergence.
Yeah, and I can definitely see it either way. Just knowing that we can go up the mountain, I know that these runners can do this dark mountain pretty well. It's not the hardest of dark rooms as well. I put that right above Eastern for easiest.
It does look like, though, he is going to make his way over to Kakariko, probably going to turn in that bottle and get his second bottle from the sick kid, and then make his way to Village of Outcasts. And while he is kind of following behind, Darkwing is, making his way through Thieves Town. This is a crystal, so we'll more than likely see a full clear. And the good news is we have Hammer available, so we won't have to worry about, am I isolating an item or anything in here.
And so far in Thieves Town, nothing of note. And John realized, or making his map check, seeing what exactly he can do today, needs to do today.
And he'll be going up, it seems, to go ahead and check Skullwoods as well. While there's just kind of a bit of moving and not really item opening at the moment, I want to go ahead and shout out the crew today. Our Restreamer, Jere Dudecia, who is the Dude Garcia in Twitch chat. Our tracker, who came in literally 5 minutes before, volunteered to help us out, OmegaAtoisk. Awesome. Just really happy that you were able to step up last minute and help us out. And my co-com, Mocha Jones, who is awesome and wonderful, and I feel like I've used awesome like 17 times already, but I'm just, I'm having trouble with words today, and that's okay.
Yeah, and also shout out to you, Laoria, the wonderful.
Oh, stop. I just do what I do and have fun doing it. Alrighty, so we see JohnTheBranch going ahead and checking the front of Skullwoods. Again, this is not a bad call. There's always the potential that things are going to be isolated in here and be, rude. But gets his red ring. I believe that was the second item, so he is going to leave.
Or maybe he might try and beat Skullwoods. which is what it looks like he's trying to do. Or he just didn't go up and get his chest yet.
Which this chest up here, I believe it was a small key. Oh, and you know what? He had already checked from the other side pinball room. So, you know, this is just continuing his set of checks.
No, I wonder if DJ knows. I mean, if he doesn't necessarily need it, but under that top left skull, there is an anti-fairy. If you don't even have to lift up the pot, you can just powder it, and that anti-fairy will turn to a fairy and just heal you up.
Yeah, it's a nice little safety to know, especially if you have powder and you're kind of getting bullied by these Zyzaxes. They can be pretty rude. John is going into the back of school woods, and he is going to be going for Moth to get that green pendant.
Which I don't fault him for. It's not a bad call. Especially since you're already making your trek back here. Might as well go ahead and get I think there's one more, I might be mistaken. Get the item and get green pendants. So Hoshua may have something, who knows? As we see Darkwing with his Carl Sagan sprite turning into Red Yoshi.
Yeah, and that was a really, really good use of Cape in that phase 3 of Blind. He had a really, really great phase 1. Phase 2, Blind got a little bit away from him, just enough to be, you know, off script, but really did great work with that Cape to get those last 3 hits, making it look easy. Meanwhile, on JohnTheBranch's side, in his Moth fight, you know, Moth is not an easy boss. You know, Moth with just spikes and no moving floor, probably okay. Moth with just moving floor and no spikes, probably okay. With all 3 of them, it's rude.
Yeah, you mentioned Moth on different locales. The Gomo podcast, which is hosting this channel hosting this tournament right now, they put on a podcast every 2 weeks. They just had a podcast come out this past week, this past Wednesday actually, and part of each week they have a randomizer seed that they release, and it just so happened to be about Enemizer. It's the bi-weekly seed, and so you can see Moth on just about any boss battlefield in Enemizer, and I cannot wait to play that seed.
I already have downloaded it. I'm so excited to run it, probably tomorrow. It's going to be really, really fun. While we were discussing our wonderful hosts, Darkwing did go ahead and do Magic Bat, got a bug net from it, and, you know, doing really quite well with that. John, you know, opting to go check that last chest in the back as he got the big key off of Moth.
Yeah, we saw that last chest in the back was the second item. It was a full heart container. And so we're not going to go see what's in that big chest.
No, and that's, you know, that's something that if you can skip certain things, it's good too. I'm certain we'll probably see him make his way over to check out North Dark World here a little bit, maybe do his graveyard checks as well.
And Dante making a wonderful point in chat. Wonderful host, plural. There's only one, and it's Herfy Durfy. We love that giraffe. Just throwing that out there.
We love that giraffe, but we've got to give, you know, some credit to Tuesday Timp. And I don't think there's an adjective for him, Dante, but we're going to have to come up with something by the end of this restream.
No, it's just Dante.
Dandy, but Dandy is spelled with 3 A's as well.
Dancing Dante.
We could do this all night, but maybe we should focus more on the race.
We are in hype
Darkwing,
game.
yeah, let's see what our level of hype today is.
Give that a 1 out of 7.
1 out of 7. I mean, I wouldn't have even given it a 1, but I'm mean. All right, so Darkwing has done his south checks here. He has pulled out his hammer, so it's looking like he's going to go over here towards East Dark World. The question is he going to go to Pyramid or Pod? And it looks like my answer is, made for me.
Now, it is interesting. He is going to Pod. Yes, it is a crystal, but there's some really notable dark rooms in Pod that, if you're not careful, will kind of trip you up, especially that dark maze.
Yeah, that dark maze is one that can be really tricky. I know quite a few people who have maybe like a graphic map to kind of help guide them through it if they're not comfortable with it yet, which is totally okay. For me, the room that gives me the biggest trouble, and luckily Darkwing has a fire rod, so this will be less of an issue, but it's that terrapin room where you have the 6 terrapins that you have to kill in order to get to the next room.
Yeah, I actually find Dark Maze, if I don't get hit, relatively easy compared to that turtle room. Again, he does have that fire rod, which makes it easy. He also has medallions, so that also makes it just a little bit easier. Walk in, hammer, and then use one of those medallions to get them.
All right, John, going ahead and getting his bottle really quickly, mirroring in front of Sick Kid's house before heading back to Village of Outcasts to finish clearing it out.
We have Darkwing increasing his bonk count.
Something that CJ would be very proud of. And so far, I don't think my counts have been off, but I think we have only found keys until that heart piece. So there can be up to 2 items in the front of Pod. We have found just the one so far, so there is potentially one more. But potentially the rest of these could just be keys.
We see Darkwing powdering that anti-fairy and catching it. He has essentially an extra life now.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about powder, especially powder plus bug net. Being able to, at a somewhat whim, get those safeties as needed. It's good.
There, and we have John now entering Thieves Town, and we know that he won't find a whole lot in here, but it is a crystal.
It's a crystal, and I'm certain he'll be happy to have that red mail off of Blind. But, it's almost one of those things like, I wish I could have had this before Moth, because red mail, it's not a huge step up from blue mail, but it is still a nice improvement.
Yeah, and Airdual Penguin, yes, we are Flippers, Mix, and Flute from Go Mode.
And technically speaking, there's one item that we've been kind of foregoing in our Go Mode discussion here. We are still missing a lamp. And so, technically speaking, we don't have to have a lamp because, I would not be surprised. This is, the finals. It wouldn't surprise me if our runners have practiced dark rooms, especially since last episode's bi-weekly seed was dark room related. But, lamp is still just nice to have available.
Yeah, you mentioned dark rooms. One of the dark rooms that haunts my nightmares is Dark Mire. That Mire basement still gives me nightmares.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Mire Darkroom is by far one of the hardest. You know, you have fire shooting at you, you're trying to pick up that skull, and then you're trying to place the block, and then if you're being really, really cool, you're trying to maintain spooky action too, and it's just a lot.
Then we have Darkwing going into the Dark Maze. We'll see how he navigates this. The first item is bombs. That's something that I like about this new version that just came out, is that now in dark rooms you can know what item you get.
Yeah, it's really nice. And also just I feel like, you know, you can hear when you've got the chest and, you know, hear it open, but something about like seeing it just helps kind of in my mind confirm like, oh yeah, I did get that chest.
In Darkwing navigating almost perfectly that that dark maze. Like I said, that I'll give that navigation a 4 out of 7.
But not a perfect 5 out of 7.
Not quite a perfect 5 out of 7. He did have he did have those Kadagos in the way.
This is fair. And, you know, John getting the good news as he was rescuing the maiden, I should say, quote, quote, rescuing, that the small key in Thieves Town was actually locked in the big chest, so won't have to worry about ever going back for that. A really nice phase 1. Just kind of missed
phase 2.
Yeah, just kind of missed that second swing down, but really nice phase 3, cleans it up, finishes it out, gets that red mail.
Alright, so we are now even on crystals. John having one more dungeon done because he did go into Skull Woods to finish that. Now I wonder if John will go ahead and finish up this Dark World side checks as we see him going to Magic Bat, and then go see what that green pendant is.
Yeah, I would be shocked if after all of this, you know, heading to pod, if he doesn't mirror in that little kind of covered maze to go ahead and turn in the green pendant to Sahasrara. The biggest question is, was it the right play?
Yeah, we are still, as we said, looking for flute, mitts, and flippers. That was one of the biggest differences last night, is that John finished a pendant dungeon. Wait, yeah, he finished a pendant dungeon and was rewarded with flippers.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny you mentioned that. I know that was brought up earlier by chat, that, you know, the dipping of pendant dungeons, the, you know, not avoiding them as many of us probably, you know, tend to do, you know, that made the difference, or it made partially a big difference, you know, getting those flippers early from Eastern off of Armos Knights last night.
Yeah, to see Darkwing in his helmet fight. Now, any item that he gets off here will be out of logic, just because dark rooms. So if he gets like the flippers or the flute from here, then we know that there's some things that can't be found based off of those locations.
Yeah, opting to use arrow strats in the crystal for the beginning bit, and then finishing off with the Master Sword. It's not a bad call. It's, if I remember correctly, it's 8 hits with Master Sword or 8 hits with the arrow. So, you know, after getting kind of 5 quick hits with the arrows, just opting to get those last 3 sword slashes worked out.
Yeah, Helma is just a little bit richer than the king that's in King's Tomb, about 10 times richer.
Well, Helma is a king in his own right. He's just, still alive, or, well, he was.
No, I think it was Zeke who said it, that nobody cared about Helmasaur until he put on the mask.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, to answer your question in chat, although our tracker beat us to it, the only thing really of note in pod would be Shovel, and that could honestly still be just nothing.
Yeah, and we have Darkwing heading up to see what is on Pyramid. I gotta say, this is pretty good routing just because of finish up a crystal, and now we're going to go up. I'm going to say get what's on Pyramid, which is a flute. Oh,
big deal! Wow. Yeah, okay, so in my brain I was thinking, having to walk all the way backwards through the pond maze, not exactly like the greatest, but, finding that flute there, that's, going to speed up everything. One thing that we haven't done yet, we still have not touched the mountain at all.
Yeah, and we have John going ahead and getting to the mountain or the pyramid. He's going to get his flute. I imagine that he'll probably go follow in Darkwing's footsteps or race steps, wherever Yoshi's feet are. Go up to see the catfish, and then he'll probably save and quit, activate that flute, and maybe go back to pod.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's a bad call at all. I think that this is going to work out really nicely for John. This is going to help him catch up quite a bit. Yeah, Darkwing nearing. Oh, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, John just saving and quitting right as soon as he gets that flute.
Meanwhile, Darkwing says, you know what? I'm at Catfish. I don't want that heart container. Let's go see what the King of Scam has. Unfortunately, it's just going to be some really expensive explosives.
Yeah, as we have John playing the Hyrulean National Anthem. And we're going to see Darkwing do that here in maybe about a minute.
All right, John is taking that flute and fluting over to Desert. Can't really do anything other than checking the ledge and Agina's cave right now. But because Agina's has, a Sphere 1 check that's been fairly isolated, this isn't a bad call.
Yeah, I can see Darkwing possibly doing the exact same thing. Of course, he's going to go start out by going to his house and getting that shovel spot.
John getting, well, we get kind of both shields at the same time. John gets his first shield from Agina's cave, whereas Darkwing gets his from the dig spot.
Okay, who got their shield first? That's the real question.
On our side, I believe John opened the chest, but it was at the same time Darkwing dug it up, so they were both visible at the same time.
We see Darkwing activating that flute, holding his sword out to automatically be able to activate that flute once the cutscene's over.
Yep, I still only just learned that last night, and I need to remember that. All right, on John's John's side, going ahead and turning in that green pendant, and it was only a heart piece. So the green pendant from Swamp, really the skull, or by Swamp I meant Moth, the Skullwoods dip, not really a necessary thing.
I mean, you did get the Lager ring in there, so I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely, red ring gang, but, there are folks who will argue that the blue ring is better because it's less lag. To each their own, but I don't think, a boomerang's not exactly necessary.
Yeah, I have two uses for that red boomerang, and one of them is to hit that crystal switch in pod so I don't waste ammo, and the other one is to get items at a diagonal, and that's about it for me.
Now, I really like this decision on Darkwing's side as John is going through Pod. I really like this decision to come up and check the mountain. There's so much up here we haven't touched yet. Hera is an option, even though it's a pendant. It is something that could potentially be holding our mitts or our flippers.
Wasn't this cave right here like pseudo original hype cave? As we see the Titansmiths and the lamp. I'll definitely give that
So,
a 5 out of 7.
wow, yeah, we are back in logic and we are just flippers from go mode at this point. Darkwing trying to set up that bomb jump unfortunately falls, but he is going to go ahead and give it one other go. Yeah, he'll definitely have it this time. That's a good setup.
Yeah. Those those ledges can be pretty tricky. And hey, we have Titansmiths. We can do all of Death Mountain right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Those mitts opened up, all of Dark Death Mountain as well. And we do have a cape and a hammer, so Spike Cave is also in logic.
Yeah, Darkwing has that fairy as well, so he can just clear Death Mountain. Unless he finds Flippers, then he's just gonna go.
What I would like to see, though, just, it's not necessary. We already have all the medallions. But out of curiosity, I kind of want to know what opens up Turtle Rock. Just to know if, that quake from the bottle vendor was something that could have been skipped for funsies.
It wouldn't have been skipped. It's an easy check. But
Yeah, it's easy, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like if I could have had 100 more rupees, to my 881 that I have right now, it's more just me being silly and I just think it would be funny. It's totally not even necessary.
and Darkwing dropping into Super Bunny Cave. This also is normally a good spot for Flippers to hide. Not today, though.
Yeah, at this point, flippers could really truly be just about anywhere except for in ice or in swamp. So, where would you, as a viewer and totally not, running this yourself so you can be as mean as you want, where would you like to see them?
Oh, where would I like to see them? Personally, I would not mind having it on like I don't know, um, some random spot. He, we've seen you know what? I'm gonna say Bombo's tablet. Flippers coming off of Bombo's tablet.
See, and I was thinking something similar, but with a fairly mean addendum. Bombo's tablet flippers, but book on pedestal.
Oh, that's evil. But We can't have book on ped.
We can't? Book isn't required by any of the pendants.
Oh, we could. That's devious.
All right, so... Oh, go ahead.
I'm just looking to see, do we necessarily need book? We don't.
Nope, because we have Mitts, Mirror, and Flute to get into Desert, so book is not there.
We need it for Ice Rod.
Oh, that's right. So at this point, Flippers can't be on Ped. I forgot about Ice Rod being on Hylia Island. Man. But it's okay. You know, an interesting point that chat pointed out that I kind of just skipped over because Mountain was mountaining. Darkwing did not opt to dip into Hera at all.
He's probably thinking crystal dungeons, crystal dungeons, crystal dungeons.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for thinking that way. You know, Myers completable, Desert is completable, and at that point you're hoping Flippers is going to be somewhere amongst those checks. So he might be kind of playing in a pseudo go mode sort of mentality at this point.
Yeah, and there's a good amount of checks here. Actually, a bit more checks than just the 2 in Hera. Cause we got Marshed, we have Desert Ledge, we have Desert itself, we have Mystery Mire that we can check. And Keg, Paradox Cave had the Titansmiths.
Yeah, so we are going to see Darkwing go ahead and make his way into Mire as JohnTheBranch is making his way through the dark rooms in the basement of Pod. Made it through that first room and that second room pretty easily. He is in the Terrapin room that I had mentioned earlier, whipping out that fire rod, and hopefully he will get... Ooh, it looks like he missed that torch. He is going to be hammering blindly around, but he's already killed 3 of them.
Now remind me, I may have missed it. Did Darkwing actually rescue the old man? Or did he just go and get the free background from the old man without having rescued him?
I'm about 85% certain that he did rescue the old man. Now that's not 100%, but I think I recall him doing so.
Because I thought he just floated up there without actually going into the dark mountain. I could be wrong.
It's possible, and you know what? It's something that we can find out. But as of right now, I'm going to just say I'm pretty sure he did. The easiest way we'll be able to find out is just the next time he saves and quits. If Mountain Cave is an option, then he did it. If not, then he didn't. Alright, John taking down Helmasaur, finishing off really, really fast, and making his way through that Terrapin room in the dark was really, really well done. Darkwing not finding anything in Mire so far.
Nope, and Astronics said, I think the old man was not checked.
That sounds gross, but okay. So, there is a small key in that Torch's chest, meaning the big key is in its vanilla location.
Gotta love those vanilla big key locations. Especially for like Mystery Mire, where you have the world's longest cutscene that you can't see.
This is true. Although you do get a nice, break to kind of relax your hands, take a drink of water, chill.
If only this nest had vibration rumble control back then, this room would be like just put on the back of your neck and just let it massage you as you're running as this cutscene's going.
Ooh, now that is nice. All right, John is going to be making his way over here to Catfish. Going to get rewarded with that heart container if he opts to pick it up. He may decide to just mirror and flute away as well.
And we, at under an hour, we are in go mode.
Yep, 59 minutes, 15 seconds. We have entered go mode on DJDarkwingD's side. So the really great thing here too is we're going to have go mode swamp, go mode ice, and really go mode desert too. He only needs to grab that big key and leave. Now the unfortunate thing is we are at Master Sword Silverless right now, and it's not exactly a fun Ganon fight, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe our runners decide to pick up, chests that are on the way, but not, necessary.
And Darkwing with some good game knowledge right there, powdering the anti-fairy under the skull, just so that way he can have a bit more health, and also getting the another safety item. And I love Darkwing's rupee count right now, 999. I hope he doesn't pick up a single rupee.
No more rupees, but unfortunately by using that powder, he did kill his spooky glitch, so he will have to go ahead and do these rooms their normal way.
Yeah, which I think would be fine for Darkwing. Yes, he did cancel out his spooky, but I would rather live than have spooky activated right now, especially with that spot there.
Absolutely, no. I definitely agree, living is, if you take a death this far into Mire, it's going to be way more painful than losing your spooky action.
So something I learned is that spooky will persist through a fairy revival.
That is something I did not know, which is good.
I learned that from experience.
And as we were kind of watching Darkwing make his way through Mire and find those slippers, I had seen a super speed on John's side. I don't know if it was hook speed or if it was spin speed, but just watching somebody zoom up the mountain is always really entertaining.
Yes, it is. And as we have Darkwing in his eyeball fight here, his Vitreous fight, equipping that cape and then just spamming that sword. As long as you're spamming that sword, you will not waste magic that fast.
Yeah, and that's a nice little glitch in and of itself. Taking down Vitreous, he's going to probably mirror right here, or he might walk down and go to the side so he can go to the side entrance of Desert to be able to get out quicker. But either way, being able to go mode 3 dungeons has got to feel good.
Now, I do wonder, since you are at Master Sword and Serverless, if Darkwing will do just a few extra checks to see if he gets that sword or if he'll get that those silvers.
If I were in his position, I don't know if I would go out of my way for extra checks, but anything that just happens to be, right there and in the way, I would more than happily get. JohnTheBranch, going ahead and opening Turtle Rock, it's not a bad decision at all. He might be thinking I might have to go in here, but we know that it's not going to be necessary.
Yeah, someone in chat earlier was saying how since T-Rock is a pendant, John will likely go in there.
But at the same time, your ice rod is, well, flippers could still be in there and it would just be a required double dip, but that'd be gross. Because our ice rod is on Hylia Island.
Yeah, that just sounds evil.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know, he won't make that dip, because we know that it's not the right call.
No, just gotta see how long it's gonna take for John to get to the mire area to go to dip into Mystery Mire to get his go mode. And the second room that having sword beams is so good for is this little Popo room here. Just using your sword beams to just take them all out.
Yeah, and I like this using the lamp to light these just to save a bit of magic and be able to fire rod strats on Lanmolas.
I'm surprised he didn't pick up that magic pot that was in, I believe, top right. But he got the one side. He didn't need that extra magic. He had magic to spare. As we get our burrito for taking down Lemos.
He just wanted to make sure that Darkwing had a nice, you know, snack while he was getting ready to go do all these water checks. Really, Lanmo was trying to sabotage him because we know you should wait some time before eating, or wait some time after eating before swimming.
Yeah, we don't need any cramps while we're in the water.
These are some smart rando bosses. Oh man.
And we're about to do blink and you miss it. Swamp Palace. If I'm not mistaken, you can do Swamp in like under a minute if you execute correctly.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me because that seems quick, but with how, you know, some runners are in this community, it wouldn't surprise me.
Of course, I'm just kidding. You know, there's like 30 seconds of screen transitions in itself. But it's a really quick dungeon and go mode. Now, the question is, will Darkwing try and get some of those checks to see if he will get a bow or the silvers or another sword?
You know, if I were in his position, like I said before, I don't know if going out of the way for checks is really a good idea, but getting the 2 drowned chests as well as the waterfall chest, totally reasonable.
Yes, we see Darkwing making his way quickly through here. Not even, he wasting time. We're timing him, seeing how long it takes him to get to Argus.
Not just to Argus, but through the boss as well. Meanwhile, while everybody else is timing that, on John's side, he is getting his vanilla big key in desert. He is mirroring out. A quick note, John opted to complete desert before Mire, so you know he may dip back in after getting that map from Lanmolas, dip back in to get the final item from the big chest, although there could have been another item in the right side and I missed it both times because I'm distracted.
I think there's bombs in one of them. Bombs are hard. Can't remember. But we
There
are
was a
about to
heart
see.
piece in the center chest for sure.
Yeah, so we're about to see a Downward Down. Darkwing. I don't know if he's feeling rushed. He was in go mode in under an hour. There's no way he should feel rushed, but he probably is like, "Hey, we have a sword."
There's
Darkwing is
always a sword in swamp.
Darkwing is in comfortable go mode now.
Yeah, and at this point, you see he is just skipping everything else. He is out of here. That tempered is all he felt like he needed to be able to really, truly safely complete Ganon. But the meme lives. There's always a sword in swamp.
Is that like there's always money in the banana stand?
Indeed.
Having that tipper sword is going to make it so much quicker to fight Argus. Instead of having to try and charge with a spin or whatnot. Just hook slash, hook slash, hook slash. And also phase two spins. I think it's 2 spins, and just take him down.
Yep, he could have tried to be fancy if he really wanted to with Fire Rod and get the quick kill there, but not necessary. 2 spins is still really not bad at all, and makes quick work of Argus. He will be flying over to 8 and entering Ice Palace. Meanwhile, John is going back for that big chest in Desert Palace.
Yeah, going this way, it could reward him with silvers. It's just $3. So not a very good investment. I mean, I guess you can call it an investment because he got $20 from it. But we know where the flippers are. It's in Mire, and he's about to go in and get that.
Yep, and I'm certain he will be happy to be reaching go mode, and he will only have his 2 water dungeons to finish after picking those flippers up and destroying the eyeballs. Good old Vitreous.
Yeah, and we have confirmation from our chat. It took Darkwing approximately 3 minutes and 15 seconds from transition to transition in there. So let's see if whenever John gets in Swamp, if it'll take him quicker to do it.
Timing both of our runners' execution through Swamp. Let's do it. Darkwing making the, remembering that this is go mode, I don't need to check anything else. So he did not worry about killing those pen gators. He just walked in, walked out, hit the switch, and is going to be showing off some Icebreaker.
Yeah, and this is another one of those dungeons you don't necessarily have to get a chest in, which makes it so good. Just get the key under the big rock coming up here, and just go.
And I gotta say, I'm so far with this dungeon in particular, I'm really impressed with Darkwing's menuing. It's something that I think a lot of people kind of take for granted, but if you know what you're going to need and you menu to it ahead of time, it really saves time.
Yeah, that's something that is really useful. It's one of those small time saves. If your menuing is not good, then it could actually cost you a race. You're trying to decide where am I going, where's my item. But if you know your menu really well, that time can add up to save you a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And at about 1:12:48, JohnTheBranch got his flippers and entered go mode as well. So he is about 2 dungeons or so behind DJDarkwingD at this point. But he did get that small key, so he is aware that big key is vanilla.
And we have the last of our eyeball bosses here with Cold Stare and trying to get the quicks up. Didn't quite get him in the corner, but he's got his temper sword. He should be making quick work of Cold Stare here really tightly soon.
Yeah, Tempered Sword plus Red Mail, although he is getting bodied a little bit and it can feel a little scary. You know, the other cool thing about this fight is if you hang out at that top wall, you won't get hit by the ice crystals at all. But I gotta interrupt myself because that is our 7th crystal, which means it's time for a game. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower basement. We play a little game for some internet points to figure out what chest number we believe it is. So get your guesses into chat.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my ceremonial 6, just because that's what I normally go with. If I don't get 6, I try and go with like 19 or something. I'm willing to say that maybe a 24 will win today. We have seen it.
This is true. Good old 24. That's... It feels weird, but it is totally something that could happen.
And Darkwing releasing this fairy and opting to get another blue potion, I don't blame him for this. We don't have half magic. We're going to be, as far as we know, doing Ganon silverless. So I don't blame him for getting some blue potions here.
No, I like that call as well. You know, getting safeties before heading up to GT, it's a quick flute. You're gonna have to flute to one anyway. This is totally understandable. And like we mentioned before, the time you spend getting safeties is completely saved if you avoid a death.
Alright, so we have the climb up Death Mountain Dark, and then as soon as Darkwing enters Ganon's Tower, we will stop our big key guessing game and start the count from his perspective. So get those last guesses in there. Like I said, I'm going with 6. That's my normal number.
I'm always a fan of Bob's Chest, which is number 14 in the traditional Hope Room into full left route. JohnTheBranch finishing off Vitreous. He decaped before all of these small eyes were down. So got a couple last arrow hits on that small eye before taking out the big one. Gets his crystal, and he will be heading towards Swamp or Ice. We'll just have to see which he opts to go for.
Yeah, it'll be really good for John if he went Swamp first, just cause that Temper Sword is in there, as we have Darkwing entering Ganon's Tower. He'll probably go Hope Room, and if he doesn't get a small key, go left. Because you know you can't advance unless you decide to do Cape Strats or just get the key in the Tile Room, which Darkwing likes to like annoy me with.
Hope Room into Tile Room?
Yeah, he's like, I hope your key's in the Tile Room.
That's just true friendship. When you can tell your friend, I hope your key is in the worst place ever, and not mean it maliciously.
Oh, he's actually had it happen to me once. In a ladder race.
That is glorious. Alright, but so far, we are not finding the big key yet. We have had 2 checks so far. Oh my goodness! Mocha Jones! Mocha Jones! Rigged! It's rigged.
That's a power of friendship.
The power of friendship prevails. Your GT big key number today, ladies and gentlemen, is 6. Congratulations to Mocha Jones for guessing correctly and earning 13 points and continuing the conspiracy that you have to be a volunteer on the crew to win the GT Big Key guessing game.
The only time I won it was when I was commentating a race, so yeah.
I mean, you know what? At this point, I'm wondering if there's just something. I'm a little weirded out by it, though.
And we have Darkwing making his way through the get ready head into the gauntlet. As we have John navigating through swamp. We'll probably see him just fly through this as well. I don't expect anything on the left side to be checked.
No, and I sure hope not. You know, we're in go mode. I would be surprised if John doesn't do what Darkwing did and, you know, check the chests that are directly en route. But, you know, it's not a let's go to left side swamp looking for a sword or looking for silvers.
And I'm surprised with, I was gonna say, I'm surprised, but not really surprised, if that makes sense. Like, he's not using fire rod straps, just because he does kind of want to conserve that magic. He'll probably use it here to get that Southwest, which he does. And just because we don't have half magic, and we also have 2 blue goos. So I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah, stopping to get this bunny beam here in that little hallway before land mode 2, it does kind of mess up the timing on when the heads spawn here in the fight, but he is making quick work with this tempered sword. 2 cycle, they are down. He will be making his way up to the rooms that I find very satisfying, the Wizrobe rooms.
Oh, they're so very satisfying. Fun fact about the Lambo fight is that the fight actually starts in the bunny beam room.
And that would explain why the timing gets off. I did not know that, but that explains it completely. JohnTheBranch did go ahead and pick up his tempered in the drown room. He had a little bit of wonkiness getting that diver down to work. Sometimes that cane setup can be a bit picky. I don't know exactly why, but it's just, you know, sometimes it's just rude like that. But he is going to be making his way down the river and up to Argus.
Now you're fixing to see some of the real power freaks up here. He calls this the Mocha Bonk right here. I don't know why. I guess because he saw me do this once. And actually getting the lamplight here just because he was all magic. That was good.
And that's excellent because, you know, he could have easily just used one of his blue potions, but knowing that there's a full refill up here in the pre-Moldorm area, you know, that's going to save him, you know, another blue potion for that Silver Luscannon fight. That's good.
Yeah, speaking of Moldorm too, this is actually the first time we see Moldorm today, but definitely will hopefully be the last.
He is taken down. Does DJDarkwingD check Moldorm's chest? And 2 seeds in a row, it is a big 20.
No, I feel like that 20's been there for quite a while.
I believe, and somebody who is more comfy with vanilla can confirm, but I believe that the vanilla item is actually a big 20.
I want to say that it is, actually. As we get into some agonometry.
Yeah, getting a single on the first one and then getting kind of a gross pattern on the second one and not getting any. Plus getting 2 blue ball shots in a row.
He's just setting up for this triple right here.
I don't know if he got the triple, but it was a really nice double.
That was a really nice double. And there's Agate down. And we're fixing to drop in to fight Bacon with Bacon.
And he's racking up that bonk count. JohnTheBranch making his way through Ice Palace on the right side of our screens. He is going to hit the switch and go back and do Icebreaker as well.
So we have Darkwing into the Ganon fight. Now, he does have his cape out, which means I anticipate him using that for the Fire Bath phase in phase 2.
Yeah, and this makes sense, especially since you're still able to do kind of slashes and slow down that drain just a little bit. It'll help you hopefully get a 1 cycle on phase 2, which it does look like he did, and that's excellent.
Yeah, we're just gonna hope for no Ganon hugs today because one Ganon hug and he's gonna have to pop that blue potion. Alright, let's see where those silvers are today. They are in the light world.
I like this call by Darkwing to go ahead and right after getting that torch glitch, go ahead and use a potion to refill magic and health for phase 4. It's going to help, you know, keep this torch glitch. Well, once you get the torch glitch, you're fine, but you know, keep everything kind of one fluid motion.
Now I'm surprised that he didn't go for the Fire Rod strats here since he does have another blue potion. He could try for triples if he wanted to.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I think he may be just thinking in his head, you know, play it safe, play the game. There isn't a dot done yet. You're doing fine. Just play your game and don't fall.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Don't fall.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we know that Ganon can be kind of a jerk. Yeah, knowing that he's getting close, he goes ahead and pulls out that fire rod to go ahead and finish off these last few hits on Ganon. There is not much left yet as JohnTheBranch is entering his cold stare fight.
And there it is. DJDarkwingD taking down that big pig with the bacon sword. Oh man, what a race. Sub 90. Sub 90 here. And with an official speedgaming.tv time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, 16 seconds. GG to DJDarkwingD. The reverse sweep is alive.
And I would be surprised if we don't get him in here for an interview. Really, really well done. Now, I'm not certain, you might know better than I do. Is this a PB for him? If you're not sure, we'll find out.
I'm going to probably say that probably is. I don't think we've sub 90'd yet. So we'll find out soon.
Man, that is exciting though. You know, it's getting your first sub 130 feels so incredible. And so I can't wait to hear his reaction.
as we do have JTB heading up the mountain to go into GT to hopefully get that key on the 6 check and head up the mountain. I head up to fight Aga to fight Ganon.
And we are joined by DJDarkwingD. GG, my dude.
Thank you so much. Straight up, that's my first sub 130.
We were wondering if that was a PB for you.
Big shout out to Dante for rolling this seed.
I'm sure he is very happy to oblige. All right, so let's just start off with the simple question of walk us through what you were kind of thinking with this seed, especially after coming off of yesterday's, not so fortunate finish.
I was tilted beyond belief yesterday. I know you saw the racetime.gg chat. It was a really rough day at work, and then that seed, thank you, Amarith, and then just the way that I played it, which is really bad. The seed wasn't the worst thing. It's just I made really dumb decisions. So I wanted to just focus tonight and try to follow logic as best as I could. I know I did some dark rooms, but that was kind of my goal tonight. Don't really do too much else. Just follow what's there. That's why I did the early before I hit South Shore. I went over and did Eastern. It's like, well, I have everything. I have the fire rod, so the back is in logic as long as the big key is in the front, and almost all of us can do that one dark room. So it was just, hey, let's just focus, keep your head down, and just finish. And then I think I made some just really good decisions along the way that just helped out.
Yeah. we were kind of curious about not going to South Shore. My question is, as soon as you get Bo, save and quit, go check, escape. What was the plan there?
If you get an item off of Uncle, just go ahead and go to escape. Well, I ended up getting an item off of the Senk chest, so I didn't think it was going to take that much time to just go ahead and just go to escape. What if something huge is there and John doesn't go there for a minute? It's not going to take me too much time to go do that. It's not going to take me too much to get back. So overall, I was thinking, John's going to do this anyways. If there's nothing there, I'm not that far behind.
I'd just like to point out really, really quickly that the Light World silver arrows were on the pedestal today.
Wow, that's awesome. That's hilarious.
Hilarious and gross. So speaking of that, as much as you kind of can see this in a video game, it seemed like after you found that tempered sword in Swamp, you had a bit of a pep in your step, if you will. Very, very quickly, like skipping anything else that potentially could have been, butter sword or silvers. I'm assuming you're incredibly comfortable with tempered strats.
Oh, absolutely. That was, the silver list is something that I really only learned in this tournament. But lately, I've definitely become, sorry, I was just reading chat. Yes, hilarious and gross, Jocelyn Sauce. That was very, very good put, Laoria. It just, I didn't really need anything else. I had one more. The only thing that I was kind of worried about with Master Sword still was doing Cold Stare. But, I had extra fairies, and the plan was if I didn't find something there, I was going to go ahead and flute over to the potion shop and get an extra blue potion, just so I didn't have to worry about it. And just fire rod the whole time.
Yeah, and that's something we mentioned was also really excellent, getting a safety. The time you spend getting a safety versus the time spent potentially dying, it's worth getting the safeties just about every single time.
Oh, for sure.
Now, DJ, I want you to go back I want you to watch the VOD of this just so you can see how wrong you made us. Because there were several times where it's like, oh, DJ's going to go do this, and you got a complete opposite direction.
You know what? It was do or die for me. I had to make some plays. So, that's another reason why I did the save and quit to go to sync. That's another reason why I went straight to Eastern instead of South Shore. When you're in this position when it's a best of 3 and you're already down 0-1, you got to pull out all the stops and just make plays. And I think that's what I did.
Yeah, make plays you absolutely did. It was really, really incredible to watch. I am incredibly happy for you. Welcome to the sub 130 club. It's, just I just need to know how you're feeling right now, because I'm like smiling ear to ear for you, because that's just such a big, accomplishment.
I feel really good right now. A big win like this always makes you feel better. And this the time that I got is there was no point in there, even knowing, oh my god, I'm about to hit sub 130, did I think, oh god, maybe I'm ahead. There's no way that I'm ahead right now. Like, the whole time I just felt John's probably done every little thing that I've done too. Because John's another one of those dudes that has just improved so much throughout this tournament. So there was no point where I really felt safe. But in the end, like I said, I feel really good right now. That was a really good run. That's the best run I've ever done. The seed worked really well. I took everything that I've learned throughout this tournament. Thank you to Lumaga for the darkroom maps to help me out there. And thank you as well to every mentor that I've had. I've had Lumaga, I had Kazed in one game, I had Worldwide Wimpy twice, I had Trinex once. Trinex 1 I'm a little disappointed about because that seed was just very generous and there wasn't really much to go through with me on that one, but he was still a chill dude and I enjoyed just chatting with him. There's no way I could have done a sub 130 before this tournament started.
So going back to the silverless ag, I remember that one time that we both tried it before we even had this tournament. It's like, yeah, we gotta go find silvers.
I do, and you actually learned silverless before I did.
That was out of necessity.
Fair enough.
But dude, just seeing how much, cause it's not like we know each other IRL or anything, but
no, not like we're actually like teaming.
But just seeing the growth in this tournament from everybody in this tournament is a testament to just the dedication that everyone involved has.
Yeah, I mean, everyone put in such effort, whether it's the runners, the admins, the commentary crew, thank both of you, every other volunteer, the runners, mentors, everybody put in so much work to get this all done. And it's so awesome to see so many other of my peers in this tournament that have improved so much. Whether you could, you were already getting consistent, under 2 hours, or maybe you were just having trouble getting a seed done and now you're consistently like around the 2 hour mark. Like, everyone has done such a great job and put in a lot of effort here.
Yeah, I think you both really hit the nail on the head with it. Like, that's what this tournament is all about. I feel like there may have been like such skill differences from like between us all at the beginning, but just seeing where everybody is now, it's so incredible. Like, we had our pickup race last week, and something that I kind of mentioned yesterday was, anybody who is like, it's fighter sword bracket, again, I hate that. But like, anybody who's like that, you whooped me in that pickup race we had. And, I may have made gold sword bracket, but here you are coming back in the fighter sword bracket, going 1-1 now. And what are you looking forward to for race 3?
Just a good race. I think I know what John's gonna pick. We'll wait till he's done. You know, I'm watching the stream right now, and so he's just about to get to his Aga fight. Actually, I'm gonna pull up Jere's restream and watch right there so I can see what's going on live on a play. But you know what? I'm just looking forward to another good race. Whoever comes out on top between me and John, we both worked so hard, and I think we're both really hungry for this win.
Yeah, as I said, as soon as you cross that threshold there, the reverse sweep is alive. In the semis, you had a reverse sweep there too. You've been in this position before. Do you feel confident that you can pull it off again?
Yes. I need to play my game. I need to just follow what's going on, not try to do anything dumb like I did in game one, and just play my game. I'm confident if I play my game, that I'm going to pull out the W. I'm so glad John had a fairy.
I was just about to say the same, because that made me a little worried. I don't know if he had gone to purchase potions or not. I think he may have just caught fairies in just along the way using the anti-fairies.
Something too that you brought up about some people going, oh well, it's just a fighter sword. We had to go through some pretty tough challengers. I actually went and looked at a lot of the people that I raced. Out of my 4 losses in brackets, one of them made it to gold sword and was out in the first round. Esmar, excuse me. Man, I'm trying to look at my stream real quick. Zeronix, that's who it was, who rated me, by the way. Thank you for that. He made it into gold sword. I had another one is in the master sword finals. Another one is in the tempered sword finals. Like, I had to go through a lot of really tough competition, and even going through fighter sword, that has not lightened up at all, because the level of the runners that are here right now and moved on this far is just, you can't compare us to when we first started this tournament.
No, absolutely not. Yes, there was growth in the Swiss brackets, but I think so early on, like you said, there were people who were placed against really tough opponents early on. And, those early losses in the Swiss are going to put you into rough positions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
Oh, no. John's here. Let's say John, GG, man.
GG. Wow, I made some mistakes. I took some damage, but honestly, it looks like you were in your final form today.
You know what? I almost went with the Vegeta sprite, so.
Well, GG. That was a stack of Rico. Yeah, I took that early death on Armos, and I made a few what I would call routing mistakes, but I don't know if they were so much mistakes as I just got on a different track and I didn't pick the right direction to go. It was an extremely open seed. I think we had 8 progression items by the time we did all of our Sphere 0 checks.
You know what? I was just glad that we got Hammer early.
Oh, you got Hammer early. Oh wait, when did I get Hammer? Where was it?
Hammer, I believe, was in the back of Escape.
Okay. Yeah, I got it earlier.
Right. Yeah, because I went and grabbed that just before going to South Shore. I had a weird early game.
All right, let's rapid fire those questions unless we're still on DJ.
I mean, I think we're good with DJ. John, you mentioned, routing differently, but really, truly, you were right. Like, everything opened up. So we had a lot of divergence, but, it's just the way that Rando happens. Like, y'all just happen to have that. So, you mentioned taking that early fall in the dark room there on your way to Armos just because of not having magic. At that point, you went back in. Was there part of you that wanted to leave and come back later?
There was, but I said to myself, you know what? I could have done it the first time if I hadn't been so hasty. I had already closed. I was already back on my tracker. I had my darkroom map closed, and if I had been looking at the shape of the room and remembered that there was a green magic under that pot, which is enough to light a torch, I would have had it. But obviously, that was not enough. There was more than a 12-minute difference by the end here.
Yeah, I think another big part of it too was just the quick trying to get to, like, you found the flippers in Mire, but getting to desert first instead of going into Mire, so you ended up dipping back into desert, that kind of situation.
Yeah, stuff like that. And that decision was just, hey, I'd rather have tempered in Mire if I can get tempered in Mire or silvers.
Yeah, and I apologize, we won't be able to do a whole lot of an interview because we do have another race here starting in 9 minutes. But John, I don't want to cut you off. Is there anything that you want to say to everybody?
Nope. See, everyone, me and Darkwing are going to go off on the side and figure out when Game 3 is. That'll be announced during the next race. Thank you to, to everyone we always thank, right? The people that run the tournament and our mentors and the whole group. No, that's it. Yeah, we're good. Let's give Lumaga the space.
All right, the big question real quick, John. What is the last mode for y'all?
We're gonna, you know what? I have not run casual this entire tournament. We're gonna run casual.
All right, and with that, we're gonna get out of here. We do have a Master Sword bracket tournament. This is Game 3 for Johnson Sauce and It's Solder, so stay tuned for that coming up. Game 3. This is it for the Master Sword bracket. Again, thank y'all for showing up tonight. We will have Game 3 between DJDarkwingD and JohnTheBranch here coming up, announced soon. And thank you for everyone. If you haven't gone to follow these runners, go follow them. Also, thanks to the dude for the restream. Thanks to OmegaAtoisk. I'm so bad with that name. Thanks to Omega for being the clicky dude for us tonight. And thank you, Laoria, for casting with me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun to be able to do this. Just everybody who's in chat, stick around because, like Mocha said, round 3 of the Master Sword Finals coming up shortly.